Hello, welcome to ANU community. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the context of Prakriti Pariksha. What actually Prakriti is and what are the areas of Prakriti determinants and how we are going to apply in the present context we are going to learn today. In brief, whenever if you think about the Prakriti, it is considered as, literally it is considered as the nature or the normal behaviors as such, or what we can say, constitution as such, that can be considered. So if you look into the Prakriti, it is even mentioned that Prakriti Sharira Swarupam. What are the different, the both in terms of the external features and in terms of his behavioral patterns, or in terms of his, what do you say, that the uh, mental functions, etc., that is categorized under this particular Prakriti terminology. How this particular the Prakriti will be produced there. Shukrartaveste janmad vishene vishakramehi. So this particular Prakriti is formed around the union of Shukra and Shonita. So that means the Shukra is also having some kind of the dosha dominance. Either there may be a possibility of Vata dominance or Pitta dominance or Kapha dominance, or Artava, what we can say, the Stri Bija or the ovum mass, that is also is having some kind of the Vata dominance, Pitta dominance or Kapha dominance. Depending upon the dominance of these dosha, or depending upon the nature of the diet pattern, depending upon the Panchamahabhuta dominance, etc., the Prakriti in the offspring may be something different, or same Prakriti may be there in the offspring. So, or otherwise, there may be a possibility of totally different Prakriti may be possible. It is just like the toxins in the toxic animals. So that means it is not putting any kind of the harm to that particular toxic animal, but it is toxic to that as such. In the same way, so this Prakriti, that is the dosha, that is not putting any harm to the body, but they are present in the human body as the normal patterns as such. As we discussed earlier, it literally means nature or the certain behaviors or constitution as such. As such, that is being mentioned, there is formed at the union of sperm and ovum. Three types of Prakriti, that is Vata Prakriti, Pitta Prakriti, or Kapha Prakriti. Further, three types of Dvandva Prakriti are there. Either there may be a possibility of Vata Pitta Prakriti, or Pitta Kapha Prakriti, or Vata Kapha Prakriti, or there may be a possibility of all the three dosha dominance as normal in a balanced way. What we can say, the Sama Prakriti. Sama Prakriti is considered to be the ideal Prakritis, whereas in India Prakriti they are considered to be Vidosha dominant Prakritis. Either there may be a Vata Pitta or Pitta Kapha or Vata Kapha. They are considered to be India. So when you think about the determinants of Prakriti, तत्र प्रकृति आदीन भावान अनुव्याख्यास्यामः तद्यथा शुक्रशोणित प्रकृतिं कालगर्भाशय प्रकृतिं मातुराहार विहार प्रकृतिं महाभूत विकार प्रकृतिं च गर्भशरीरम आपद्यते, गर्भशरीरम अपेक्षते. So that is Shukra-shonita Prakriti. So that is the dominance of the dosha, the sperm and ovum, Shukra or Shonita, at the time of gamete formation, that is going to decide the Prakriti of the individual. Kala Garbhashaya Prakriti, dominance of dosha in different seasons, or the dominance of the dosha in the womb of the mother, it's going to decide the Prakriti of the offspring. Mathurahara Vihara Prakriti. So that is the dominance of the dosha decided by the diet taken by the pregnant woman, or the regimen followed by the pregnant woman. So that is going to decide the Prakriti of the child as such. Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara Prakriti. the dominance of the dosha that is going to get decided by the Mahabhuta dominance in the body of the fetus as such. So that is going to decide the Prakriti of the individual. So these are what is considered to be the determinants of Prakriti. We are going to discuss these in a little bit different approach itself to understand this. Let us say Shukra Shonita Prakriti. In the sense, the Shukra has to be Pravara and Artava has to be Pravara. So that means Prakrishta or superior quality. Then only the progeny will be of having the superior quality. So here, the Shukra as such, that is actually deciding the quality of the sperm. Some of the sperms, they may move very fast. Some of the sperms, they move very slow. So when you think about the Western physiology, the viability of the sperms, the female genital tract is considered to be 24 to 48 hours. So that means if the sperms are producing the gamete within this particular time period, then there may be a possibility of pregnancy. Suppose if the sperms are producing the gamete at around 10 hours after the, what do you say, that the viability of the sperm in the female genital tract, there may be a possibility of a pravara or the best progeny may be born. Or if the sperm is uniting with the ovum after around say 30 hours after the, what do you say, that the sexual intercourse as such, then there may be a possibility of the moderate quality progeny as such. And if the sperms are actually uh, producing the gamete after around 40 hours as such, then there may be a possibility of the quality of the progeny may not be that much superior quality. So the movement of the sperms in the female genital tract, so that is considered to be, as per the Western physiology, it is about 1 to 4 mm per minute. So that means when the intercourse happens, then this sperms will move towards the ovum in a matter of what do you say, that the uh, that much speed, 1 mm to 4 mm speed that will be moving. So if it is moving very slow, then there may be a possibility of kapha dominance in that particular sperm. If it is moving very, very fast, that is indicative of what the dominant sperm as such. So in this way, so that is going to get decide the, what do you say, that the uh, prakriti of the child as such. So suppose if the ruksha guna is more in the shukra, or there may be a possibility of a movement of the shukra that may be slower. Or if the guru guna is more, then there may be a possible movement of the shukra that may be slower. So like that, so that is actually deciding the, in this way, this shukra is going to decide the prakriti of the individual. As far as shonita is concerned, quality of the ovum. So if the ovum is getting fertilized soon after ovulation, then there may be a possibility of the pravara prakriti individual. If the gamete formation takes place after the 50% of after its viability, then there may be a possibility of a madhyama prakriti. Or if the ovum is getting fertilized after around 70 or 80% of that particular viability time period, then there may be a possibility of a avara prakriti individual as such. Further, the duration of the menstrual cycle is also deciding the, what do you say, that the quality of the sperm as such. So that is, duration of menstrual cycle will be helpful in determining the ovulation period. As per the present day Western physiology, ovulation time is being calculated by observing the last menstrual period and subtracting with 14 number. So that will be giving us the ovulation time. Suppose if the lady is having the menstrual cycle of 30 days, ovulation in that particular lady may be in the 16th day. If the lady is having the menstrual cycle of 26 days, the ovulation in that particular lady may be around the 12th day. So that means the Pravara Prakriti individual that may be produced when both sperm and ovum are of, what do you say, that having the Pravara Guna. If the ovum and sperm they are having the Madhyama Guna, there may be a possibility of Madhyama Prakriti as such. And if the sperm and ovum they are having the Avara Guna, there may be a possibility of a Avara Prakriti as such. Kala Garbhashaya Prakriti. Kala Garbhashaya Prakriti in the sense, the that is Kala in the sense the time, Garbhashaya in the sense the status of the Garbhashaya or uterus. Suppose if you think about the Kala, so that is the time of a sexual intercourse. Is it in the morning, early morning, noon time, or evening, or night time, or midnight time, etc. So that is going to decide the, what you say, that the viability of the sperm as such, and season of the sexual intercourse. So that is going to decide if the intercourse is being done in the summer season or in the winter season or in the rainy season, which is going to decide on the human physiology itself. For example, in case of the winter season, what actually happens is all these cells they are going to have the contracted state. In that way, even the reproductive system that will be the contracted state as such, which may be responsible for the poor motility of the sperm, etc., in the female reproductive tract as such. In that way, so this kala is going to decide prakriti of the individual and whether proper foreplay is performed or not. So that is going to decide the, again, the movement to happen in the female reproductive passages. So if proper foreplay is not being done, there may be a possibility of less secretions to happen in the reproductive passages. Then Garbhashaya, in the sense the status of the health of the Garbhashaya or uterus. Is it healthy or is it not healthy? If it is having the excessive menstruation, or is there any tumor is present in the uterus, etc. That is going to decide the status of the health of the uterus as such, which is further add will be having the add-on effect in deciding the prakriti of the individual. Then comes the Maturahara Vihara Prakriti. Suppose if the lady is consuming more amount of the Masha Yukta Ahara, for example, black gram items, dosa, idli, etc., there may be a possibility of increase of Guru Guna in the body. If gobi Manchurian intake is being taken in excess as such, this may be responsible for the increase of the Tikshna quality in the body. In turn, there may be a possibility of a Pitta, Dosha, Prakopa in that particular situation. If the lady is sitting in the squatting position more than normal, for example, suppose if that particular lady is having the sitting the squatting position, for example, 10% of the time, which may be for that particular lady may be normal. If she is sitting in squatting position for up to 50%, which is giving the more burden on the womb of the pregnant lady, so thereby that is going to have a change in the prakriti of the resulting child. Or brisk walk by the pregnant lady may increase the vata dosha in the body. So like that, Matuhu Ahara Vihara Prakriti is going to decide the, what do you say, that the Prakriti of the child. Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara Prakriti. frequent consumption of black gram items, there may be a possibility of either increase of Prithvi plus up Mahabhuta in the body. Gobi Manchurian consumption may lead to the increase of Tejo Mahabhuta in the body. Frequent lemonade drinking with sour taste, which may increase the Tejo Mahabhuta in the body. So like that, the first instance, there may be a possibility of Kapha dosha dominance. The second and third instances, there may be a possibility of increase of Pitta dosha dominance in the coming child. As far as Prakriti assessment tools, 4 different parameters are there: physical parameters, emotional and mental parameters, social parameters, and spiritual parameters. When you think about this, physical parameters as such, these are the different ways where we are going to decide the Prakriti of the individual as such. So that is skin, joint, body hair, tongue or teeth, that is going to decide the Prakriti of the individual. Color of the skin, texture of the skin, body weight, subcutaneous fat, prominence of the veins or hairs, and presence of moles. So like that, which are going to decide the Prakriti of the individual. So here we are going to use the only few examples. When you think about the color of the skin, if the person is having a dark complexion, that is indicative of a Vata dosha dominance in that particular individual. If the person is having the medium complexion, we say that the person is having the Pitta dosha dominance. White complexion, we may say that the person is having Kapha dosha dominance. You think about the texture of the skin. Suppose if the person is having this particular roughness of the skin, we may say that the person is having Vata dosha dominance. Here, when you think about the texture of the skin, it is very smooth. It indicates the person is having the more amount of the fat present in the subcutaneous area, which is going to decide the Kapha dominance. Here, when you think about this, more amount of the moles are being present, which may indicate the dominance of Pitta dosha in that particular individual. As far as emotional and mental tools are concerned, we need to remember the formula MTFARD. M refers to mindset, T refers to thought, F refers to feeling, A refers to action, R refers to result, and D refers to destiny. If you want to have the right kind of the destiny, you should have the right result. When you want to have the right result, you should have the massive action to be taken. When you want to have the right action, you should have a right feeling. For that, you should have a right thought process. To have a right thought process, you have to have a right mindset. In other words, to say, if you want to have a desired destiny, your mindset should be corrected, or your mindset should be right. So which may be helpful in creating the right thought processes or right idea generation, which may have an influence on others as such. Suppose if you want to have the, for example, you want to learn Ayurveda. You are practicing Ayurveda. In the sense, so this influence, so you are getting the influence by seeing the persons who are doing the more and more such kind of the practices, so that which will be giving you the confidence on practicing Ayurveda. That means you are going to develop a strong value systems on the Ayurveda practices. Thereby you are going to change the thought process of practicing Ayurveda only in that way. So that means if you are having a strong emotion towards any kind of the belief as such, you are going to have the concrete result. If you are having the unstable emotion, if you are having the weak emotion, which may be having the less concrete result. So in other words, if you want to have the right destiny, you should have the right mindset. Regarding the social tools, so this is going to get decided by how many people one can have an interaction in 24 hours. This is for one example. Can you able to reach 100 people? Can you able to reach 1,000 people, etc.? Can you able to reach the 1 lakh people? So in that way, so, and can you able to, what do you say, that the bring the what do you say, that the happiness or in other people, etc. That is how we are going to decide the social being of the Prakriti as such. For example, if Vata Prakriti person, they can able to talk to many people, but the outcome may not be that much productive. In the sense, they are going to have the, what do you say, that the unstable thought processes. They are going to have the uh, interaction with the people, but they are not going to have create lasting, what do you say, that the long-lasting relationships with those people. So that is the clear-cut picture of Vata Prakriti individual. Whereas Pitta Prakriti individuals, they are usually impulsive in nature. Whereas Kapha Prakriti individuals, they are going to have very few people as their friends, but they are going to have the lifelong relationship with those people as such. That is the typical nature of Kapha Prakriti individuals. As far as spiritual tools are concerned, how many people that particular person is going to have an influence. So benefits are going to get produced. If the people are going to get benefited, if only one person is going to get benefited, probably, so that is that particular, in the sense, that is less aspect as such. Whereas if the person is going to influence more than 1,000 people or 1 lakh people, for example, so the Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, is actually influencing many uh, e-commerce people by producing the, what do you say, that the Amazon as such. By producing that, he is going to influence the more and more people getting what they are going to order to their smartphone sitting at their home itself. So that means he is going to provide comfort to the people as such. Whereas Steve Jobs created Apple, whereas he is going to give the utmost, what do you say, that innovation techniques through that particular technology as such. Microsoft person has influenced many people with the principle of democratizing automobile. So like that, how many people are going to get benefited, that is going to decide the spiritual aspect of an individual. So Vata Prakriti person may not have an, what do you say, that the lifelong influence on the people as such, though they may have an impact on multiple people, but lifelong influence may not be possible. Whereas Kapha Prakriti individuals, they are going to give the influence or benefits, so that they are going to do, people who are getting the benefit from them, they are going to have the lifelong interaction or relationship with these particular people. So when you think about this spiritual tools as such, from this particular angle, we are the learners of Ayurveda. And regarding the spiritual aspect is concerned, how many Ayurveda learners and Ayurveda lovers, we are influencing. If you are influencing more and more people, definitely our spiritual angle of that is considered to be appreciated. To sum up in this particular session is Prakriti is considered to be the nature of an individual or the normal behaviors of an individual wherein the person is going to do in his routine activities. Suppose if he is not tensed, what are the activities he is going to do? That is going to decide the Prakriti as such. So these are what do you say that for example, physical parameters are there, nails, skin, etc. And the mental parameters, so that is the making friends at a faster rate or having the firm belief and the value systems as such. So that is going to have the, and based on that, he's going to make the decisions. That is a characteristic feature of a Kapha Prakriti individual. Four determinants of Prakriti are being mentioned in Charaka Samhita: Shukra Shonita Prakriti, Kala Garbhashaya Prakriti, Mahaturahar Vihara Prakriti, and Pancha Mahabhuta Vikara Prakriti. As such, four tools are there, as we have discussed earlier: physical tools, mental and emotional tools, social tools, and spiritual tools. So, these are the things that we have to consider while analyzing the Prakriti of the individual. Dear ANA community, that's all for today. What are the major key takeaways from today's discussion? Mention in the comment box below. And what is the one video that you'd like to hear in the coming days in this particular channel? Mention in the comment box below and spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. That's all for today. Something more in the next video. Thank you.